My Harry Potter Christmas haul. Now every Friday for the past 4 weeks I've been sneaking downstairs to take a peek at my new Christmas stocking to see what Santa has brought me. And in today's video I'm going to be talking through each gift in my enormous Harry Potter Christmas haul. So click the like button, subscribe, click that bell button to be notified of future uploads, and let's get on with this video because it's coming up right after this. Hello and welcome back to Real World Magic, where we make your life more magical. My name's Neil Trigger, I'm going to be your magical host, and in today's video I'm going to show you all of the wonderful things that have been delivered to me over the Christmas period. It didn't all arrive at the same time, but it is all very cool stuff and will actually help this channel with ideas for content that you guys are going to love. Okay, so a bit of background. I've grown this channel over the past year and I've been lucky enough to pick up a few patrons along the way. Thanks guys! One of these patrons, Chivalrous Tube, is also a member and I'd like to think he's also become a good friend. I'm not going to get all weepy or psychopathic, but he has been a huge help, and not just financially. He's edited some of my videos, he gives me ideas all the time, and I also run various ideas for merch past him before it gets to you guys. Now before we get into the actual haul here, I just want to say that he's also got a great channel himself. I'm not being paid to say this, but it is a good channel, so if you like my stuff, you're probably likely to enjoy his stuff too, so check it out. The link I've put down in the description. Okay, shall we get into my Harry Potter Christmas haul video then? Good. So on Friday the 27th of November, quite a long time ago now, something arrived in my fireplace. Or by my fireplace, it wasn't in my fireplace, that would be crazy. It was this awesome Harry Potter inspired Christmas stocking. It's a Hogwarts theme, so it's non-committal in terms of which house it's pointing to, but it does have this lovely red and yellow sash thing, kind of goldy colour, which suggests to me that it's aimed at probably more at Gryffindor. The Hogwarts crest on the black velvet is actually really well done, and the stocking itself looks really good quality. It also holds quite a lot, but before I'm going to get into all of that, we'll get into that in a moment. I was a bit confused when this first turned up, and I asked my wife if she knew anything about it. She played dumb and said it must have been Santa. Well, thanks Santa. Eventually it came out that Chivalrous Tube had arranged the whole thing with my wife Laura, and she was under strict instructions on what to do. So put something in the stocking every Friday in the lead up to Christmas. Okay, so that was one Friday in November. The tree then went up, and when Friday the 4th came around, I went downstairs and saw something deforming the otherwise perfect line of my Hogwarts stocking. I reached inside, I was giddy with excitement, a feeling you only ever get pulling things out of a giant sock. Inside was a bottle of Skelligro. This potion bottle replica from the Harry Potter Studio Tour says it's screen accurate. Personally, I disagree. This is definitely a plastic version, and while it's pretty good, it's not exactly screen accurate. I think it's misleading. I'll get into a full review in a moment, but Harry Potter had to regrow his bones in his arm after Professor Lockhart made them all vanish when Harry broke his arm during a Quidditch match. This bottle may only be made of blown plastic, but I think it's still pretty cool. It has a seam across the head, and this one seemed to have had a reaction between the glue and the plasticizer in the skull, so it was still quite sticky. The main thing to remember is that while you can use this as a water bottle, you know, the head comes off, and it does kind of work as a water bottle, it's waterproof, it's definitely not dishwasher safe. That could make it pretty hard to clean. I'm going to leave mine on my potion shelf, so that's not really a big deal for me. Now I wouldn't say that the skull headpiece looks like the movie prop replica, but you could always paint it. I could paint it myself, I suppose. The only issue with that is that I'd need to paint the whole thing just so that they match together, and then I'd need to paint over the existing writing, which is pretty good. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, so that was week 1. Would you like to see week 2? On the 11th of December 2020, I marched downstairs, delved into the stocking again, and pulled out 2 things this time. There was a sticker and a mug. The sticker looks like this, the mug looks like that. Now, the sticker says "This way to the Ministry of Magic" with an arrow pointing down, and the reason is that it's supposed to be stuck on the underside of a toilet lid, so that when you pull up the toilet lid, you can flush yourself in. Gross. I do like it, but during the Christmas break I decided to put it above my mantelpiece so it points to my fireplace instead. I'll decide what to do with it when I move house. I don't really want to stick it in this house. The mug looks pretty boring at first glance, just a big black mug. But hold on there one moment, add hot water and suddenly it transforms into this. Yes, my friends, this is a Marauder's map. It's hidden when the mug is cold, but the colour changes when it gets hot, with the black print turning transparent, revealing the design below. I know from experience that this is not dishwasher safe either, because my son got me an awesome superhero mug for Father's Day that looks like this one year, and now it's permanently stuck on the light side, which I think is a shame. I'll be washing this one by hand, I think, and I have tried it out, yes, and yes, it is awesome. Then came Friday the 18th, a special Friday because it's the last working day of the year for me. I have the rest of the year off. Woo! That's pretty cool, because now I can focus on my YouTube channel and make videos like this. Once again, I trundled downstairs into the living room and plunged my hand into the stocking. This time, it was a mousetrap. No, I'm kidding. There were so many things in there that they wouldn't all fit. The first thing I found was this cool Harry Potter cookbook. It was actually leaning up against the fireplace because there just wasn't enough room in the stocking. But weird thing was that everything else was quite flat, so I didn't even notice that there was anything in there. So I genuinely thought that that was it. I was very happy and I walked upstairs and showed my wife, as if she wasn't the little elf that had been helping Santa deliver the presents in the first place. She wasn't impressed at my lack of searching talent and told me to go back downstairs again. And this is what I found. 2 wooden spoons, another Harry Potter cookbook, a Harry Potter cocktail making book, and a Harry Potter chopping board. Clearly Chivalrous Tube wants me to do more cooking videos, and this is his not so very subtle hint. Now I'm going to be doing a big review in just a second of all of these things, but for now, let's fast forward to Christmas Day itself. So the big day comes, that was yesterday as far as I'm filming this, and I trundle downstairs again. I'm alone. My stepson wasn't feeling very well, so my wife was upstairs talking to him. I wander over to the stocking and I found not 1, not 2, or even 3, but 4 Harry Potter character wands nestled inside my stocking.
Wowee!
I'll tell you about those in a moment and tell you what they are too. So let's do a quick recap. By the big day of Christmas, my patron gave to me a Skelly Grow bottle, colour-changing mug, ministry sticker, 2 wooden spoons, a cocktail-making book, 2 magic cookbooks, 1 chopping board, 4 magic wands, and a partridge in a pear tree. He didn't give me a partridge. That would have been good though. So let's talk them all through, shall we? Okay, so let's get started with the first thing. Now this is going to take a little while, I'm guessing, so I'm just going to have to crack on through them. The first thing was this stocking. And I've got a picture of it which I'll put just here, but this is it, so hopefully it won't look weird against the green screen. We've got this sort of goldy yellow and almost like a burgundy blood kind of red, a black velvet. Velvet's always kind of made me feel a bit weird. It's like this weird nervous reaction I get to it. I don't understand why, so I'm not going to be holding it very much. I'm going to be holding it by the top here. But this is the Hogwarts crest here, with Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and it says Draco Dormiens non quam titilandus, which means do not tickle or never tickle a sleeping dragon. It's got Hogwarts H in the middle there. Just black on the other side, but that's going to be up against the fireplace anyway, so that's cool. And it does hold quite a lot of stuff as well, so we'll get onto that next. Okay, so week 1 was this lovely Skelly Grow bottle. It unscrews, so you can actually use it as a normal bottle. I'm not going to, but you can. It's got a little plug here, which then goes there. That makes sure that it is completely watertight. And you can see down there it is just a blown plastic. They say it's screen accurate. It's not actually, because if you look at the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets film, you'll see that these arms actually stick out a bit. The elbows sort of jut out from the bottle. So this is not screen accurate, even though it says it is. But that's okay. I still like it. It is kind of the same colour, This stuff looks very, very similar. It is starting to smudge a little bit. I'm not going to rub it because I think this is just water-based ink, which I think is a major shame for this. So again, this isn't perfect. If I look really closely, there is a little smudge on the E, but that's not terrible. This I think is probably just a sticker. I'm not really sure what this is. It says Skelly Grow for use by healers only, and it says 1,100 drops, bone regenerator Skelly-Grow. Bonafide results every time. Nice little pun there, like it. Sold only by Rubens Winicus and Company Inc. And then there's the skull here. If you look kind of closely, it is a bit gummier just around the brow, and there is a seam around the skull as well, which I don't believe would have been on the screen replica. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not spending thousands on this. In fact, actually, I'm not spending anything on it at all. But yeah, I'm guessing this wasn't thousands and thousands of pounds, but for what it is, I really, really do like that, and that's going on my potion shelf, and I'll leave a picture just there. Right, next up is this awesome sticker. It is a little bit bent and a little bit creased actually, and this is how it came to me. I don't think that it was necessarily in the greatest of conditions when it came through the post, unfortunately. I think it's absolutely fine for a toilet. I think it's absolutely fine to go above my mantelpiece, which is where I put it, so I will show you a video of that right now. So this is the This Way to the Ministry of Magic sticker. I've put it above my mantelpiece just so that I don't have to stick it on a toilet, really. When we move house, I might well put that on the toilet in a man cave or something. I'm not really sure where we're going to be, but I don't particularly want to put it anywhere in this house just yet, because otherwise I'm going to have to leave it behind, and I really do like that. So I'm going to put that probably in my Harry Potter bookcase thing, just so it's nice and safe, so that when we do move I can use it. Okay, then the following week we get some spoons. This one says Exteriamus, which I think is a bit of a stretch. It's also not particularly well burnt in here. So this is using like a laser and it burns into the wood. But I don't know whether you can tell on camera, it's really not very deep, and I have heard that some reviews say once you start using this it disappears because it kind of gets stained a little bit, and then this kind of almost washes off. I can believe that from this one. This one on the other hand, because I got two, this one says the spoon chooses the wizard, and this one's actually quite a bit deeper and quite a bit darker, so I would imagine that's probably a little bit better. Alright, so the spoon comes in like a plastic wrapper, which is fairly basic. It was actually opened originally, that wasn't me, but I think that's probably because it's got a spike just here. So let's pull that one out, and it says, the spoon chooses the wizard. I don't know why I did that in a Hagrid voice. The spoon chooses the... I can't do John Hurt. Yeah, so the spoon chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter. I've not tried either of these. I think they're both really cool. I will be trying them using some of my recipes in the books, which I'll get onto in a second. But I do quite like those. One thing is that when you're stirring stuff, sometimes wooden spoons can break, so you can't have enough wooden spoons. Staying with wood for a moment, we've got this lovely chopping board, which I haven't actually taken out of the packaging yet. It says, I solemnly swear that my cooking tastes good, and it's got these little footprints, which I think is kind of cute. This is a homage to the Marauders map from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I think that's really cool. How practical and useful this is when you're cutting things, I honestly don't know, because I would imagine that it will probably get into these grooves, which is a shame. But whether or not that's going to be the case, I honestly don't know. I will try this again. I'm going to be using some of the recipes that I've got in some of the books to use this, and wish me luck. But I do think that if I would probably use it for chopping cheese and stuff like that. That would make these letters really kind of gross. So I might just pin this up on the wall rather than actually using it as a proper chopping board. I'm not sure how practical this is. I might put it on the wall instead in the kitchen, which I think would be quite cool. maybe affix something to the back here and hang it on the wall just above where I cook. I think that would look good. Okay, we're going to do these cookbooks in a bit of an order. So we've got the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. This is just a black and white book. It hasn't got any colour images, but it does have quite a few images in here. So there's homemade pumpkin pasties, there's double chocolate cauldron cakes, chocolate frogs. I did make some chocolate frogs on this channel before, and I'll see if I can leave a link just up there. But they've got lots of groovy little things. Slughorn's Secret, so I'm guessing this is probably something to do with pineapple, is it? No, this is actually a cake. That's interesting. I'm not quite sure. I think some of these recipes are quite tenuously linked, like bangers and mash. It's just a classic British dish. That's all. These are quite cool. The Harry Potter Pumpkin Howler. It's basically like an envelope, I guess, made to look like the howler that Harry got from the Falda Hopkirk, which interestingly wasn't red. I don't know quite why. Then we've got a chocolate spell book. We do have quite a few Harry Pottery things like Golden Snitch Pops, but then you've also got Butterbeer Fudge Blondes, or Blondies, and then you've got, yeah, so there's more chocolate frogs. There's lots of different types of chocolate frog things in there. We've also got some cocktails, which brings me nicely on to the next one. I do really like this, and I think that's probably going to yield some quite interesting things. I haven't read all of it yet, but there are some good things in there. Again, some of them fairly tenuous. So like the cheese pretzel broomsticks, they're quite cool, but yeah. And then you've got breaded pork chops, which doesn't seem very Harry Potter at all. But it has been mentioned in the Harry Potter films, so I guess that's the thing. So I really like that, that's cool. Then we've got the Harry Potter Cocktail Cookbook, the unofficial one. I wasn't very impressed with this in the production quality, simply because it's got spelling errors everywhere. It talks about how things are elegantly balanced, not delicately, elegantly, simply because they just get the spelling wrong. So I'm not very impressed with this. The images are black and white again. Yeah, so 2 elegantly balanced cocktail recipes. Missing off the D. That may sound really finicky that I'm picking up on that one thing, but we've also got Hogwarts Express rather than Hogwarts Express. It's spelt right up here in the graphic and wrong down here, but that's not it. Even in the disclaimer, there's loads of spelling errors. They've got it all the way through here, and then they've got loads of spelling errors in here. They've got it on absolutely every single page. Now I know that this author may not be English, but there are, oh no, that one actually is only one author, the other one had 2. But even so, you would think that you'd be able to at least spell check this. They have sold quite a lot on Amazon, but the spelling and layout is pretty horrible. Having said that, the recipes are amazing. I'm going to definitely be making some of these because they do look pretty cool. So the information within it is good, but I just wish they'd spell checked it. So not a great review on this. I don't want to sound ungrateful because the content in it is absolutely brilliant. The Gilly Water cocktail, Ravenclaw cocktail, again some of these are quite tenuous as well. They don't really do anything, they're just nice recipes to drink. So I'm going to be trying to do my own version of these to make them colour change and bubble and do cool things, so maybe catch on fire and things like that. So I'm going to try and spice these up a bit, but that's all coming in the new year. We've also got the unofficial Harry Potter fans cookbook. Now this one I was really impressed with. They've got simple things like pumpkin pie, but they've got colour images and they've got lots of really cool little twists in here. So for example, if you want a pinch of salt, it's a wand tip of salt, and they explain what all of that means. They've got some really cool things. Some of them don't unfortunately have pictures, but they do have a huge number of different recipes. They've also got, on occasion, quite a lot of blank space, which I think is a bit of a shame really. But I think it would be I think this is a really good book. I think it's really well laid out. It's easy to read, it's easy to get to the recipe that you want, and I'm really looking forward to doing a huge number of things in here. Some of them I'm looking forward to more than others, but yeah, even the desserts, especially the desserts, I think are going to be pretty cool. So I might need to wait until I've lost a little bit of weight in the new year, because I want to go on to a New Year diet, and I definitely don't think this is going to help. But I am really looking forward to this. So great find that, like it. Okay, moving on to the wands now. So first up we have this one. It's a lovely brown colour. Not lovely, I don't like brown. It kind of looks like this. It's got the Harry Potter logo on it. And let's see if I can pop this one open. Alecto Caro's wand. It's got this, oops, it's got this worm of foam to protect the wand, which I think is cool. It's also got the name tag, which unfortunately they don't sell separately, so that's kind of annoying, but Chivalrous 2 does know that I like these name tags, and so he got me a character wand, so thank you ever so much for that. Here is Alecto Caro's wand. It kind of reminds me of a flump. Do you know those marshmallow things? They're kind of like a rotten one. So this kind of looks a bit like marshmallow. It's not, obviously it's hard and it is kind of lumpy. I don't know what this is supposed to be, whether it's vines or something, but it's 3 different tones, so dark brown, mid brown and light brown, or light grey almost. And then it just repeats going up. And then it just terminates on the end with a pommel that's kind of like almost like a doorknob, I suppose. Nothing particularly fancy about this. And then again, the guard here, kind of the same, matches the pommel here. And then the blade is just very, very simple. It's obviously got the Warner Brothers logo, or trademark down there. And then a very, very simple, fairly short blade. I do quite like this one, I'm not going to lie. It's not my favourite, but I do really like it. And I think of the ones that I got for Christmas, I think this is probably my second favourite. Hold on, I'll show you what I think my favourite is in just a moment. Okay, the next one is kind of brown again. Not a big fan of brown. Let's get this one open. They're always so tricky, aren't they? So same deal again with the protective foam. Okay, and this one is Gregory Goyle's wand. So again, it's got the name tag just here. Now these normally come in tissue paper, but I've obviously opened this already. I was a bit impatient. So this is Gregory Goyle's wand of Crabbe and Goyle fame. From a distance and probably on camera, this is probably going to look quite nice. There is a little spot here, I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Spot of paint, and this here doesn't look like it's been very well done at all. I'll be completely honest, I could paint much better than that myself, but I think this is simply because these were largely the earliest ones. I think this was almost like, hey, let's make a quick buck off these wands. Some people might like them. This is before they really became very ornate indeed, so the further into the franchise you get, you seem to be getting a lot more detail and a lot more interest and a lot more love, I suppose, into these wands. The pommel here is just basically a round blob with a bit of a what's this, like a collar or a cuff. The guard here is just looks like it's been very roughly hewn. The blade is very boring and straight. The texture on it is quite nice. It does have a couple of dents. I don't quite know what the history of that is. It does look like it's been chipped a little bit. I think that's deliberate though. A bit like the Newt Scamander one. This has been terminated with a very, very sharp edge here. I say sharp, it's not like you're going to cut yourself on it, but it's a very steep angle. It's like literally just stopping there. But a lot of wands sort of round off. This one isn't. This one is very much a dead stop. Again, it's got the little trademark thing. Yeah, this is probably my least favourite, I would say, simply because don't know, I guess the character himself isn't very nice, so there's that. But also I just don't particularly like this wand. So let's put that one away and move on to the next one, shall we? Now I'm not going to do unboxings of the other two simply because they're pretty much the same as the previous two, except for the colour of the boxes. This one came in a green box, this one came in an orange box. We'll get to that in a second. So this one is the first one of the two remaining anyway. This one is Nigel Creevey's wand. Now unfortunately this came with a name tag, but it did just say Nigel on it, as if he's like Beyonce or some other one-name celebrity like Kylie. He's not. He's Nigel Creevey, brother of Colin Creevey, who played a little bit more of a role in the second film or second book than his brother did, I guess, but I don't quite understand why they just went with Nigel. It seems like a bit of a strange thing. It's not like any of the other name tags just say Harry or Lupin. It just strikes me as a little bit weird, that. Anyway, this is Nigel Creevey's wand. The pommel here terminates a little bit too abruptly for my liking. I would have liked to have seen it a little bit more bobbly. This is almost like an acorn kind of texture, the top of the acorn, so it's kind of knobbly bobbly. Reminds me a bit like Harry Potter's wand, the way it's sort of cleaved here and then it then goes into a different type of wood. It also reminds me a bit of Ron Weasley's wand, so this is kind of a cross between the two, I guess. I've not seen Colin Creevey's wand. I'm guessing it's fairly similar, in a similar way to Fred and George's wand being the front and the back of a broomstick. I don't know whether there's anything with Colin's wand that kind of looks or matches in with Nigel's wand, but either way, the blade itself is quite long really compared to the rest of it. There's no guard whatsoever. There is this little ornamental stuff, I guess maybe that's sort of a guard. The handle is quite comfortable, you can actually hold it quite nicely, and the thumb seems to rest quite nicely in that cleave there, so you can swish it about a bit. It's really well weighted and it is rounded at the end here, unlike Gregory Goyle's wand, but it is slightly cut short, so it's not like it's totally rounded, but I don't mind that, that's not too bad at all. And also, if you really look very, very closely right down the tip, the camera's almost certainly not going to pick that up, it is a slightly different colour, so it's almost like there is a wand core in there, which is cool. I don't know what the wand core is for Nigel, I'm going to have to look it up. But I do like this, and there seems to be a little bit of a texture on here, almost like it was sort of carved by a knife. I think that's probably deliberate, but I don't honestly know. It's almost like a nut right at the top, almost like a hazelnut or a conker or something, which I guess might work quite nicely with this whole acorny kind of feel. I do like this wand. It's probably my second favourite, and I know I said that about Alecto Caro's wand, but I think this probably pips it just. Next wand is the final wand. This one is Parvati Patil. It's kind of a nice tan colour, which works quite nicely when I put it in my wand case because it contrasts with the others. If you compare the colour of this one with the colour of that one, you know, next to each other, you can definitely tell the difference. The main feature on this one, it doesn't have a pommel, it doesn't have a guard, it's got a pretty basic blade down here, again fairly rounded, unlike Goyle's wand, which was just cut short, but it is again fairly terminated at the end too. That one also has a similar sort of thing with the wand core, which is quite a nice little touch. The paint at the top here, not perfect, but not too bad. It's dappled on the wing itself, but this is almost like a dragon wing wrapped around the wand. It's sort of blended in here, which is quite nice. But this almost reminds me of, it should almost be a Slytherin wand because it's kind of reptilian, because dragons are reptiles, and this is definitely reminiscent of a dragon wing. Now I don't know what Padma's wand looks like. Again, I'm going to have to look that up because Parvati is a twin and her sister Padma is in a different house to her. So I don't know whether that would mean that maybe their wands aren't quite the same. But Nigel and Parvati both have siblings that both go to Hogwarts. So it'll be quite interesting to see what Padma's wand looks like. So I'm going to have to probably get that one next, I guess. But I do really like this. It's almost like it was a normal, dead boring wand, and then they wrapped a dragon wing around it to make it look really cool. It's all made out of the same wood. Of course it's not really, it's probably made out of resin in reality, but I guess it's supposed to be made out of wood, but it does look like it's been twisted, and I really like this wand. That, out of the 4, is definitely my favourite. Now, by way of a little bonus, I'm also going to show you guys some other Harry Pottery stuff that I got for Christmas. So, hopefully this is going to show up on camera okay. I don't know whether it will or not. Wait there, I will be right back. Okay, here's this little guy. This is a snitch, a golden snitch, that's housed within this sort of bell jar kind of thing. It's all USB controlled, it's got a micro USB on there, and it's actually touch sensitive, so if you touch it, it will turn on and off, which is pretty nifty. It's not terribly reliable. Hopefully it'll... it's playing up now, it's doing it every time. There you go. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you're too quick or tap too lightly, then it doesn't do anything, but if you tap it like that fairly hard, then it will turn on and off. So I quite like that. It is plastic, so this is actually plastic rather than glass, probably because it's designed to be hit, I guess, I don't know. There are a few scratches on there, which I'm sure I didn't do myself. It came out of the packet and I've hardly done anything to it. I don't tap it with my ring, I always tap it with the tips of my fingers to make sure I don't crack it or anything like that. Also, the snitch is clearly plastic, as are the wings. It would have been nice if it was metal, but I can understand for the price tag. That's not really practical. And also this stalk on which the snitch is actually housed is stood. So the stalk on which the snitch is actually stood is hot glued in, and you can actually see the hot glue. So the production quality on this isn't brilliant, but I'm guessing it wasn't very expensive. It does have a seam down the golden snitch itself, again, which would have been better if it wasn't there. I'm being a real perfectionist now, because clearly this is designed just to be plugged into a computer. It hasn't actually got a plug on the end, so kind of similar to the Apple stuff that, according to environmental reasons, so they say, they're not including plugs with them anymore, which I think was challenged by, was it Brazil? Or I think it was Brazil. Yeah, they challenged Apple and said, no, you've got to put a plug in this. But yeah, so it didn't come with a plug. I think it's kind of designed to be just plugged straight into a computer and then used as a night light almost. But I've got it plugged into a socket down there, because we've got these fancy sockets that you can plug USBs straight into. But I don't think there's very much more to say about that. It's got the Harry Potter logo on there. I really like this. It's going to go on my desk, provided that I can tidy it, because I'm trying to do some clever stuff with multiple computers and switch boxes and all that sort of stuff, which maybe I'll show in a different video if you guys are interested. If you are, let me know down in the comments. Next up, from Secret Santa, it was actually my sister-in-law. I know who you were. Thanks very much, Claire. Cheers, I appreciate it. We've got this little thing here. These are actually cufflinks, which I did request. I did want them, simply because in 2021, hopefully we're going to be able to go back to work. I've been working from home since March, so it's going to be a bit weird going back into the office after all that time, but hopefully we'll be able to at some point, and I would quite like to wear some smart stuff for a change rather than just wearing t-shirts and jeans. But here they are. I won't show you both, I'll just show you one of them. This is the sign of the Deathly Hallows. For those people who know what this sign means, it's quite cool to recognise it and go, ah yeah, Potterhead. For those people who don't know what it means, it just looks like a decorative item. It's very understated, and for Harry Potter stuff, you don't necessarily want it to scream out that you're into Harry Potter. I wouldn't want like one of those, I can't even remember what they're called, these little figures with big heads, like bobblehead kind of characters. I wouldn't want anything like that. So that is quite a classy way of showing, yeah, I'm into Harry Potter, I like magic stuff. Because it's solid silver, and, or at least it certainly looks like it. I think it is. Let's see. Nope, doesn't say what it is. But it's solid metal anyway. So this is really good quality stuff. And it's the triangle, which represents the cloak, the circle, which represents a resurrection stone, and the line straight down representing the Elder Wand, or the Death Stick. The interesting thing about the circle, or the sign of the Deathly Hallows, I think, is that the resurrection stone was not circular. There's a bit of interest for you. So I'll put that one back in, and then we'll move on to the next one, shall we? Great little gift. I like that. Okay, next up, again from Secret Santa, so thanks to my sister-in-law. So next up is the unofficial Harry Potter Insults Handbook. Ta-da! This is a really cute little book because right at the very beginning you've got an oath to take. In a similar way, I guess, to I solemnly swear that I am not up to no good, it's kind of the opposite. So it's, I don't think it actually says the words I solemnly swear. I will just double check that. But it basically says I will not use this book for ill. Yeah, so it's all about insults. So these are basically comebacks. So if someone's bullying you and they're into Harry Potter, then you can say, "You're so ugly, Voldemort won't speak your name." Then you've also got things like, "You're so ugly, even a Dementor wouldn't kiss you." Things like that. So it's kind of rough. But I'd say that I like you, but I shall... It says I shall not tell lies. It should say I must not tell lies, but there we go. Leave before I do something that will allow me to see a Thestral. Quite clever, quite like that. But there's a whole load of them. And there's also little activities and games and pop quizzes and stuff like that. So there are quite a few groovy little things. There's also some illustrations here. The illustrations were done by Sterling Martin. And it also is written by two people, so it's Birdie Jones and Laura J. Moss. Don't know who these people are, but congratulations, this is a good little book. It's only black and white on the inside. Unfortunately, it would be nice if it was colour, but I can understand the production values and price tags. I think this is an independent one. I'm pretty sure it's independent. It doesn't say who it's printed by, but I would imagine it's probably... Oh, it is actually by Amazon. Yeah, there you go. Printed in Great Britain by Amazon. It's also got a little space here that says conjure up your own insults. It's only one page on there, which suggests to me that this wasn't just a place to fill space. It was actually well thought out. And then there's a little bit about the mischief makers as well, and what house they're in. So Gryffindor, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. So no Slytherins, interestingly. So maybe they're all trying to defend themselves against the Slytherins who are insulting them, who knows. But I really love that book. As you can tell, it's quite, not dog-eared already, but it's certainly been thumbed through quite a lot, so I'm going to have to read that cover to cover. And I've got a couple of days off work, so I'm going to do that in the new year, so that'll be cool. So yeah, thank you very much to Claire for that, and that pretty much, I think, concludes everything I wanted to talk about. That is my Christmas haul. Now, I almost forgot, but my gorgeous wife bought me this wonderful handmade wand case for Christmas. It's got a Ravenclaw crest right at the back there, behind Snape's wand. Take that off. There it is. Unfortunately, it didn't come with any kind of lights, so I might need to retrofit that with some string lights or something like that. But it works really, really well. It's nice and solidly built. It's got these lovely pieces on the corners here, and it hangs really securely. I won't show you the mechanism at the back, but it's really securely attached to the wall. Made of solid wood, and it's all hand stained. I think this is gorgeous, and it's probably the pride of my man cave right now. What did you think? What was your favourite? Let me know down in the comments. So that's it from me for another video. I really hope you liked it, as this is the last video of the year. I'll be back the same time next week with some more magical awesomeness, and as always, you can catch me on my live stream at 6 PM UK time on Saturdays. Please do click the like button if you liked it, click the bell button if you're going to subscribe, and I will see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. I wish you a very brilliant new year and look forward to talking to you then. But until then, as always,
Stay magical.
And check out all of the stuff that I've used the word stuff too much. It didn't all arrive at the same time, but it is all very cool stuff, and it will actually help with this channel, with this... Why do I keep doing that? Now, by way of a little bonus for you guys, I'm also going to show you, in fact I think I already have shown you, I don't know. And by way of a little bonus, I'm also going to show you some other Harry Potter...
Please subscribe to Real World Magic. While you're there, click the bell button to be notified of future uploads, and have a look at all of my social stuff. Remember to donate on Patreon if you really, really liked it, and I'll see you again next week.